Yo, what's up, my little firecrackers? What's going on? I said I wasn't gonna do this for a while, or at the very least, until I finished What If Deku had the boosted gear. But today I said fuck it. I just said fuck it, man. I wanna do this, so here we are, we're gonna do this. Now, the first person to tell me a devil fruit that does not exist in the canon series, and it has to be one of two types. It has to be a Lugia type fruit or a Zone type fruit. It's going to be one of these three. Then, because I already have a Paramecia type picked out, so it's going to be one of those two. I have the Paramecia type, and then the first one who comments a Zone type or a Lugia type that I actually find interesting. I'll take those three and I'll run them through a random generator, and then I'll do a random number generator, set up numbers, you just then run it through, and whichever one it is the devil fruit that Izuku eats. So, without further ado, this is What If Deku was in One Piece, and I'm not going to be putting, and obviously I'm putting My Hero Academia's characters in here. Obviously I'm doing that. He's not going to have eaten a devil fruit beforehand, though. So in this part, it's just all the way up until he meets Zoro. That's what I'm gonna do. So expect me to skim over a bunch of shit. Okay, now this is going to be a part of the DEKUVERSE series, and it's going to have some hints to series that haven't happened yet, like What If Deku ate a devil fruit, what if Deku had the powers of, was a dragon slayer, or what if Deku had Meliodas' powers. All those things are going to, come in to play at some point in time or another. So, I'm getting off track. Izuku is born into the world of One Piece this time. Quirks don't exist. This is One Piece. The only difference is that some of the characters that are in My Hero Academia are in this world. That is the only difference. Got it? Good. So here we are. Izuku is born into this world. Monkey D. Izuku, grandson of Monkey D. Garp, as well as the son of Monkey D. Dragon. Garp raises Izuku, and Izuku is born with a strong sense of justice. By the age of 3, he decides that he wants to become a Marine. Give me a minute, guys. Give me a minute. Don't go throwing in the comments. Give me a minute. We'll get there. So, Izuku wants to become a Marine, and he actually, instead of pulling a Luffy and, going against him, he actually accepts Garp's training, and therefore he learns how to use the 6 powers. He can use the finger pistol, he can use shave, he can use all of the 6 powers. He can harden his body, the iron hardening thing that they do. He can walk on air. He could use moonwalk, I believe they call it. And all the other things. He could use all of them. He can't use the advanced versions of them, but he can use the 6 powers. So then, now that we've gotten that out of the way, and Izuku goes through some intense training. In fact, this is by the time he's 8, he's already learned how to use all 6 powers. He hasn't completely mastered them, but he can kill somebody with them, basically. But he can fight pretty well. He could probably take down someone with a 5,000 bounty, let's say, which are decently powerful. A 5,000 bounty is nothing to scoff at, unless you're comparing it to, the bounties of super powerful people, like the 4 emperors, or the 7 warlords, or, other people that have comparably high bounties. Izuku can take down, someone with, okay, you get the point. But Garp also teaches him how to use hockey. Just a little bit. He tells him about what hockey is. He tells him about observation hockey, armament hockey, as well as Conqueror's Spirit hockey. Conqueror's hockey. Now, Izuku still doesn't know that he has Conqueror's hockey. So, for 2 years, Garp trains Izuku how to use hockey, and he gets some understanding, but not, completely. He gets to the point where he can train by himself with it and figure out how to use it himself. Well, he's more proficient in armament hockey, so he could, put armament hockey on his fist, because he doesn't wield a sword or anything like that, any other weapon other than his own fists. However, at the end of these 2 years, when he's 10 years old, Garp has to leave him alone and go on a mission to take down some pirates. And by the time he's 10, Izuku could probably take down someone with a 10 to 20,000 bounty. 20,000 bounty would be pressing his limits. I'm basically just using the bounties as power levels, basically. So I'm giving people, bounties based on how powerful they are considered in combat, or how powerful I consider them in combat, because I'm the one giving them. But so that's how it works. And he leaves him on the same island that he did in canon, and Izuku meets Shanks. Shanks, he tells Shanks that he's gonna be a Marine someday, and he's gonna help everybody. He's gonna save everybody. Shanks looks at this kid and he says, "Kid, you do realize that the Marines kill people every day? Innocent people, in fact. Enslave them, make them less than dirt, and then treat them like they're less than dirt, or just so that they can act like some sort of higher power." And Izuku's like, "What?" But Shanks goes on to say, "But if you really want to help people, well, there is a way." And Izuku, mesmerized by these words. Obviously, he says more than that, but like I said, I'm skimming over shit. So Izuku's like, "Really? How?" Says, "You can be free. The freest man in the world. A pirate. Because pirates get to do whatever they want. If I feel like saving somebody, I can save somebody. If you become a pirate and you want to save somebody, you can save somebody. You get to do whatever you want. You get to be your own justice. You don't need to follow some set out rules. Make the rules yourself. You can follow your own morals, even if everyone else says you're not. Isn't that what it truly means to be somebody's hero? Like you're saying you want to be?" And Izuku's contemplating this like, "Oh my god, this guy's a fucking genius." And he says, yeah, and then things more or less go to canon from there, except Izuku's going to be trained in the ways of, he, asks some of them to train him, And so, Shanks, he convinces Shanks to teach him how to, wield a sword. Right. Which, if you didn't know, Shanks is a left-handed swordsman, from what I've been told. Well, and he was pretty fucking strong. And from what I can infer, he was strong enough to, catch Mihawk's interest. In this case, Izuku's going to be a right-handed swordsman, just because it's easier for me to imagine it if he's using his right hand, because I'm right-handed. And he's going to use his left hand. It's meant to sound like venom. Anyway, so Izuku goes and he's training with them, and he goes to Yasop, which I believe is Usopp's father's name. Yasop, pretty sure. And Yasop trains him how to use a gun. Obviously, he's not going to be Usopp. He's not meant to replace Usopp. But he does know how to wield a gun. He does know his way around a gun, how to repair a gun that's been broken, how to build a gun from scratch, and that kind of stuff. Obviously, he doesn't keep his sword, he doesn't keep his gun. You know what, fuck it, he keeps his sword and he keeps the gun. They say that, parting gifts, and Izuku's, Izuku not being quite like Shanks yet, he's or kind of being like Shanks because the man insulted, his mentor, and he goes after him and tries to kick his ass. But I'm gonna say this guy had a higher bounty than that. He had a 25,000 bounty, which was out of his league for the moment, because he doesn't know how to apply his hockey to his sword just yet, or to his bullets, which he will later, but not yet. And takes him out to sea. Now, Izuku didn't eat a devil fruit yet. He didn't do that. He didn't eat the gum fruit like Luffy did in canon. No, he didn't. Now, moving on. We see him in the middle of the ocean about to be eaten by a Sea King, and Shanks is about to run out and stop him, but Izuku screams, "Stop!" There are other people in this house, so I'm not gonna actually scream it. I don't want to disturb them. But he screams, "Stop!" As he unknowingly releases Conqueror's Haki, which surprises Shanks, and Izuku being the strong-willed he is, and I'm going to say that Conqueror's Haki is stronger the stronger your will is, and obviously his will only get stronger as time goes on. And so, what happens is the Sea King disappears without Shanks getting involved, so Shanks never loses his left arm. So Shanks is still going to be a super badass. Because he's still a badass, even without his left arm. But now he still has his left arm. Now, in this, Izuku's not going to be afraid to kill somebody. If you're in his way, you're harming somebody, I'm going to kill you. That's his mentality. He's like, I don't give a shit. Boom, you're dead, bitch. Because again, he's a pirate. Now this goes on for about a year or two. Well, a year-ish. This was at the end of the time when, Shanks was leaving. His training technically complete. They trained him. Yasop trained him a bit in his observation haki to help him use it, when shooting something that wasn't, in his field of vision. So he can still, so he's a little bit better in observation haki. And while in the short time from when the Sea King attacked and when they left, Shanks taught him how to apply his hockey to his sword. He can't do it perfectly just yet, but he can semi-apply it. Anyway, so he continues. So he continues his training by himself in the forest for another half a year or so. And right now he's perfected applying it to his sword and his bullets. He obviously hasn't tried shooting one of his bullets with hockey infused in it because that'd be a waste of bullets. The only time he would is when he was, like, killing something. And he puts the gun away, sword in its sheath at his left side, right? And goes back to the town that he was living in. And his grandfather came back. He said he wanted to be a pirate now because Shanks showed up. And he explained what happened with Shanks, and not the whole, like, killing part, because he knew his grandfather would probably be even worse. It would probably be really, really bad. And, didn't want to say anything about it. Didn't want to insinuate anything about his grandfather. So, and then we have Izuku being put with the mountain bandits. And therefore being with what's her face? Ace, that's what it was. I'm dumb, guys. Ace, not gonna lie, favorite character. Ace is amazing. But I'm gonna do him dirty. And, the other guy's name, that's the one, yeah. We're gonna call him Soba. I literally can't remember his name. We'll call him Dirty Blonde. Izuku easily mopped the floor with the two of them, because, again, he knows how to use shave and apply hockey to a sword. Obviously, he's gonna be, like... So, they kind of, like, respect him and don't see him as, like, what they did originally. I'm not gonna lie to you, I skipped over most of this arc. Like, this whole backstory thing, I skipped over most of it when I was watching the anime. So I'm gonna skip over it now. Just imagine that things go a bit differently with Izuku being more confident and more powerful. But they do still build a treehouse and, live in there for a bit. And hide their treasures. There is one difference, though. Throughout all of this, there is another person who joins these three in their bond of brotherhood over a cup of sake. And that would be one Bakugo Katsuki. Now, Bakugo Katsuki has already eaten a devil fruit. And the powers he has is from the explosion fruit. Yep, we're keeping this. So, Bakugo and Izuku are closer, than they are to each other than they are with the others. And that's really saying something because their bond with the others is still the exact same as it is with Luffy in the canon. And they say, and Izuku and Bakugo and Katsuki say they're gonna go out together. That they're gonna fight. That when they set sail, they're going together as part of the same crew. isn't as, self-absorbed as he is, because he wasn't born with this ability. He had to actually, like, train in order to use it properly. And the explosion fruit doesn't just send explosions from his hand. He could create an explosion from anywhere on his body. And eventually, when the devil fruit awakens, he can create an explosion anywhere within 100 meters of him. And the explosion can be extremely big or extremely large or extremely small. He is not affected by his explosions. And so, unlike in the anime, it doesn't have its only weakness is, well, water. So, unlike in the anime, his only weakness is, water, like most people. Izuku does easily beat Bakugo, as when he enhances his sword with Haki, he can just cut his explosions in half, basically negating them, which impresses Bakugo. They all see Izuku as a good leader, but Ace and Sabo was his name, I think. Ace and Sabo think that they want to be even better leaders, so he's just inspiring them to become even better. So they're going to be stronger than they are in canon. And so we continue. Everything goes to canon. Everyone thinks Sabo's dead, even though he's not. When Ace turns 17, he leaves and goes on his own journey. Knowing how to use armament Haki, and some observation Haki. Obviously, he's much better with armament Haki. He's more of the attacking type than the sit and wait type, than the sit and watch your surroundings type. So Izuku and Bakugo continue their training. Bakugo learns a bit of Haki himself, as they both go out on their way, stealing a fairly sizable boat, because they're pirates. Boat, it's like a dinghy times 3. So, like, the one that, what's her face? I think it was Nami? I want to say it was Nami. Stole from, the buggy pirates. And that one, it'd be like, its look would be kind of like that, it's just, it would be like 3 times bigger. So eventually they run into a ship and they board it because they need supplies. And then the whole thing with big fat bitch goes down. Izuku meets Kobe, and Kobe says that he wants to be a Marine. And Izuku doesn't want to, like, crush his dreams or anything, because he can see the look in his eyes, and he says he's going to be, like, one of the good Marines. And he says, and he encourages him to follow his dreams, just like Luffy did. And then, big fat bitch shows up. Izuku easily, armament Haki punches the bitch off the ship. Bakugo comes with a bunch of, supplies, food and water and other things. Some alcohol. All jumps into their little dinghy with Kobe, and they make their way. They all go and do their own thing, and the others go and do whatever it is that, the pirates then regroup and disappear. they eventually get to the island in which Zoro was being held. They see what's going on there. They don't like it. And Izuku punches the out of that super cocky bitch, whose name I can't be bothered to remember. And walked away. Like, literally, when he showed up in the anime again, I was like, hey, it's that one guy from, that island in which they found Zoro. I don't remember his name because he's a useless background character, but that I know it's him. Anyway, so yeah. So they go, and Bakugo is like Bakugo is going to be his first mate in this. I already hinted at this in, What If Deku Was a Dragon Slayer? So, for those of you who wanted to see this, here it is. I said I wasn't going to do it until, like, after I had finished What If Deku had boosted gear and What If Deku ate a devil fruit, but I decided, I could just give hints to future series and then be fine with it. It's not like I haven't already done that. So, here I am. But continuing with the series. Continue with the part 1. Izuku goes in and finds out what's going on. He punched the shit out of the super cocky bitch, and continued his way to find this master swordsman, because only the best for the best. The reason Bakugo really wanted to join Izuku, what pushed him over the edge to joining, is Izuku said he was going to be the pirate king, and that he could only have the best of the best on his crew, and Bakugo was one of the best of the best, which is what really sent Bakugo to wanting to join his crew over the other two, because he had real faith in Bakugo, while the other two saw them as superior. Izuku saw him as an equal, which is why he chose Izuku. Now, Izuku then goes to find this swordsman. Kobe went with the Marines to try and join them, and axe hand faggot person. You know what? I shouldn't say faggot. Asshole. Asshole is the word I should be using, because he was an asshole. So, axe hand Morgan, asshole bitch. You know him, you hate his guts, you wish he was dead. But continuing on with his yours, he sees Zoro, but he also sees someone else tied up to some place, and this girl trying to, feed both of them. This girl is chased off and back to them, and she explains to them how one's name was Zoro, and then and the other's name was Kyoka, and how both of them had defended her, but ended up like that because they punched Axe Hand Morgan's son. She also said that one of them was hard to catch, and it was only when she was tired out that she was able to be captured, which Izuku found interesting, and wanted to know more about her. He looked back over to see the purple-haired girl looking at him, Now, before you're wondering, does he have the straw hat? Because I think I might have skimmed over that part, but of course he would have the straw hat on him, because he still made the same deal as he did in canon. Just this time he had a sword and a gun along with that deal. So he does still have the straw hat, remember that. And so things will continue from there. Izuku goes and tries to, talk to them. The Marines show up. Izuku uses armament hockey, and the bullets just, hit him, and then flatten, and then fall to the ground like nothing. And he talks to Zoro, and Zoro doesn't want to, and he's still talking to Zoro. And he's like, Zoro, so would you like to join my crew? Only the best of the best for the best. That kind of a speech. Only the best of the best for the Pirate King, for the next Pirate King. Zoro says no, but then Izuku says, what if I taught you how to do this? And he points to the part of his self that is hardened, to your weapon, to your swords, which would effectively make you more powerful. From what I've heard, you wish to be the strongest swordsman in the world, yes? Well, learning how to do this to your weapons would help you in that. But only if you swear your loyalty to me and join my crew. He says cockily as bullets are just flattening themselves on him. And Zoro's like, fine. He's like, good, they probably were, and then Izuku's like, good, they were probably gonna kill you anyway. Now on to you, and he moves on to Jiro. So then, I've been told you were hard to catch. I did it again. So why is that? Why were you so slippery? I'm quite interested. And your decision and what you say may determine whether I leave you here or have you join my crew. She said, I'm quite adept with a skill called hockey. Said, observation hockey then. Interesting. Okay. How skilled? She said, one of the best. I can hear everything going on in this island. In fact, I noticed your approach to the island before you even arrived. Izuku grinned. And, good. But don't think this will be the end. And Bakugo had then joined in the fight and was distracting the Marines as he set the two free. They both swear their loyalty to him, and as Axe Hand Morgan shows up, Izuku covers his sword in hockey and starts to battle Axe Hand Morgan, basically toying with Axe Hand Morgan at this point, and before cutting off his axe hand with ease, with what seemed like very little to no resistance. Before Zoro cut off Axe Hand Morgan's head to actually claim the victory. So Accent Morgan is dead. Because like I said, I want him dead. So, might as well kill him. He said, "So then, Captain, where to next?" Putting his swords away. He said, Izuku said, "Well, I guess we'll find out." It's like, everyone says their goodbyes. Is as they head off to their next adventure. And to be continued. I really hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I had fun making it. I'm gonna go wait for you to come up with some zone type fruit or and a Lugia type fruit, and then run it through a generator. Until then, I'm probably going to be rewatching One Piece, the beginning arcs, to, refill in my knowledge of those, areas. But the trips over the seas are going to be much longer. Anyway, this has been Blazing What Ifs. Blazing away.